And for anybody that wants a quick lesson on water conservation, rent an RV. That's all I gotta say.
Absolutely beautiful.
Road again.
Hey everyone, Mike here. Unfortunately, we ran into another issue with a video that I had recorded got cut off just due to the settings that were on the action cam. So I wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dive into the Athabasca Glacier, the Icefields Visitor Center, and some other things that you might find interesting and useful if you're planning a trip. So you'll see that I got Google Maps up here. And as I zoom in, you're looking at about a 3.5 hour from Calgary up to the Columbia Icefield Adventure. So just to give you an idea, and if I do the aerial view, this is kind of what it looks like. So as you're coming down or through Highway 93, the Athabasca Glacier is going to be on your left-hand side or on the west. And here you can actually see what's called the toe of the glacier itself. And there's a couple of little lakes here. You'll also see that there's a couple driveways. This one on the right-hand side you cannot use with your vehicle. That's for the tour. But you can definitely go down this road here, and there's a couple parking lots where you can park your vehicle and go for a nice walk. On the north side of the road, you actually have the visitor center here, and you have this really large parking lot, not just for the visitor center, but on the left-hand side, what Google Maps is labeling the Icefields RV camping site. So this is through Parks Canada. I want to say it's around $23 to $28 a night to park your RV. You may want to try and get here early, especially if you are coming here in the high point of the season in the summer, for the simple reason that this is not a flat parking lot. So if you have an RV and you want to park your vehicle here for one or more nights, be prepared to either sleep at a bit of an angle. Be careful if you open your cupboards or your fridge, because it'll fly open or fly shut, depending on how you actually park on the property. Or if you have a vehicle that has the ability to wind down some stanchions, then you can use those to level out your vehicle. So fair warning. Anyhow, so if we go to the street level view, so here we got the Highway 93 and the turnoff to go into the ice field itself. And on the other side of the road, so here's your two parking lots in the visitor center. So later on in the video, I'll make mention of the staircase. That's this one here. And if you can see it, like somewhere in the back here, just behind this little thing here, there's another little path that kind of goes up and in through the trees, in behind, and basically comes out at the same point here at the side of the building. So in terms of amenities, the upper floor is all hotel, and it's got its own parking lot on the far right-hand side. So if you're coming in from Calgary, the first parking lot is going to be strictly for hotel. Fair warning, you're going to want to go past the visitor center and turn into either the first parking lot for the visitor center, or sorry, it's the same drive for both parking lots. It's just that they fork between the visitor center parking and the RV parking. On the main levels, it's going to be a little bit difficult to see here, but on the main level here, so where you see this old, what I would call a cat vehicle, and the far left-hand side is a Starbucks. There's also a ticket counter for the Icefields tour, which is now behind this view. There's also a souvenir shop on the far right-hand side. And as you can see, there's a few locations where you can actually come outside onto a bit of a patio after you've gotten something to eat or just have a bit of a break outside. On the middle level here, so one floor up from what would be the ground floor, you actually have two areas for food. There's a restaurant as well as a cafeteria area. Pricing isn't too bad. Food selection is actually really good. There's public washrooms. There's also a water bottle fill station on both of these levels, so down below as well as on the second level here. And again, lots of space to come outside for a bit of a view. In the lower level, so what you can't actually see in this view, there's a little bit of a gallery that's being put on and managed by Parks Canada, and it'll go over things like the discovery of the glacier, when that took place, the early explorers of the glacier, some other area location attractions, and of course they also discuss how the glacier has been receding. So I will say that I was quite shocked for two reasons when I was looking at the receding glacier. First off, when you actually turn down and start heading towards the toe of the glacier, and you can see just how far it is away from the highway here. Believe it or not, and again, it's going to be tough to actually see this, but according to Google, an aerial measurement from the toe of the glacier to the visitor center is 1.7 kilometers. So it's only almost 2 kilometers away. And I can tell you, and I think I mentioned it in part of the video that I did record, there are actual markers, one in particular that is on the far side of the parking lot here. So in behind the staircase, that marked a previous location of where the toe of that glacier was, and it was in the early 1880s or 1890s. So in the course of 100 and some odd years, this glacier has receded almost 2 kilometers. And it's one thing to see it in a photo or even an aerial view. So if I did this and put the Icefields RV camping at the top of the page, I actually have to zoom out a little bit more, and I'm still not seeing the toe of the glacier. Here we go. So if I did a measurement from here to here, 1.8, almost 1.9 kilometers. So it's a very, very scary realization of what climate change or time or both has done to this particular glacier, let alone all the other glaciers that are experiencing something very similar around the world. So very, very interesting and scary stuff when you actually are in the middle of things. And actually one of my contacts that was helping me with the Bruce Trail, seen some of my photos from this trip that was this summer, and she indicated that she was here maybe say 20 years ago. And even in that time, the glacier has receded a lot since that visit. Anyhow, what I also wanted to show you was diving right into visiting the glacier itself. So with this view, I have the visitor center in behind me, and I started to go down the little path towards the toe of the glacier. Here's the cutoff to get to the tour. And we have one parking lot up here, which is a little bit further away from the toe of the glacier itself. And there's a little bit of a trail that kind of loops around from this parking lot around. You can get to the toe of the glacier. You can go around to one of the lakes and then come back again. I did that, and it was about roughly 2 kilometers as a little bit of a circuit. Or you can continue in. And there's another area for parking further in. Not sure how old this recording is from Google. And here we can actually see one of the markers. So this marker is from 1925. So in 1925, the toe of the glacier was actually here, and you couldn't actually drive as far as I was able to this past summer. So the landscape has changed compared to what I see here, but you can actually park your vehicle up here. There's actually a little bit of a kiosk area for describing the glacier. And again, it's just a little bit closer to the glacier itself. It is cut off. You wouldn't be able to just walk right up to and onto the glacier itself. You do have to go with the tour if you want to do that. But the scenery is just absolutely amazing. The water is like a beautiful turquoise color. It is quite silty, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend filling up with your water bottles and your filters at this point. There's no need. You can just fill up at the visitor center. But it's a very, very beautiful location. And I was absolutely amazed to wake up to see these mountains every morning. Back at the visitor center, so there's tours that are available by tickets in the building itself, and the meeting point is actually right in the parking lot here. And here in the background, you can actually see another little kiosk, and that's where you actually do a self-registration for the RV parking. Cash only, so make sure that you come prepared. And there are no ATMs, I believe, when I was there in the visitor center either. Anyways, that's it in a nutshell for the Columbia Icefields Visitor Center and Athabasca Glacier, at least from this perspective. And at this point, continue watching. There's more information and more beautiful scenery to check out. Hope to see you out there, folks.
Folks, this is Tangle Creek. So I'm on the, I had to quickly get off the road here. And after a quick run across the road, here's the other side. Absolutely beautiful. Finally made it to the top. Well, not sure if I can go right to the very top. I see a bit of a path. How treacherous that is, I don't know. But maybe up there a little bit. But to the very top, I don't think so. Not on this side anyways. But absolutely beautiful. So one difference with this water, might not be all that visible right now, but it's actually really clear. The water where the Athabasca Glacier was, it was really silty. So it was not as cold as I thought it would be. It was still cold, but like a water filtration standpoint, it would probably easily clog up your filter. Like it was very, very cloudy, very murky. This, crystal clear, it's beautiful. How about we get a little bit more up close and personal? Yeah. Nice and refreshing. Did a little sanitation pickup as well while I was up there. But now to hit back the onto the highway, and actually that wasn't even a scheduled stop, so onto the scheduled stop. I'm going to sign off for now and enjoy this beautiful scenery. Till then.